Explaining GTA characters' backstories, Amanda DeSanta edition. In the early 1990s, Amanda was working as a stripper alongside her sisters in a strip club her mother owned. At one point, while working, she met a bank robber named Michael Townley and his two fellow partners in crime, Trevor Phillips and Brad Snyder. Though initially taking a liking to Brad, she ultimately began dating Michael, who bought breast implants for her and made money using her as a prostitute. Eventually, they wound up getting married and having two children together, Jimmy and Tracy, and lived in a trailer in the Midwest. As Michael continued his life of crime, he began fearing for his family's safety. In 2004, Michael made a covert deal with corrupt FIB agent Dave Norton to sell out his crew during a robbery at a cash storage facility in Ludendorff, fake his passing, and walk out a free man, while Norton got the publicity for taking down the famous bank robber, Michael Townley. Michael told Amanda his plans, who was skeptical, but he assured her that it was all to protect her. Amanda's misgivings about the plan proved true when Brad ends up shot, and the one who they really wanted unalived due to his psychotic nature, Trevor, escapes. Despite this, Michael and his family eventually assume Trevor to have passed. Amanda attends Michael's funeral before moving to Los Santos with her family. While living their new life, Amanda's relationship with Michael and her kids becomes sour, as she doesn't approve of Tracy and Jimmy's lifestyles, while constantly getting into arguments with Michael, barely tolerating him. Michael spent his time drinking, moping, and losing his temper at her, forcing her to raise their kids without input from him, while also spending his money freely on expensive clothing, jewelry, and plastic surgery. She stayed faithful to Michael until she caught him in the act with a stripper, leading to her cheating on Michael with many different men. At some point in the summer of 2012, Amanda rented out their house to producers without her husband's knowledge. While Franklin Clinton breaks into Michael's house to repossess Jimmy's car, he briefly sees Amanda in the kitchen with her tennis coach, Kyle Chavis, as he seductively demonstrates to Amanda how to properly use a tennis racket. Afterwards, while Michael tries to relax by the pool, he put on earbuds playing music to drown out the sound of Tracy arguing with Amanda about how her then-boyfriend, Gary Scales, can't sleep over that night because Amanda thinks that he's a bum and accuses him of being homeless. Tracy angrily denies this, screaming that he just doesn't have anywhere else to stay. When Michael catches Amanda and Kyle in the act in his own bed, Kyle, in panic, uses the bedroom window to escape. Michael follows after him, even though Amanda tries to stop him. With the help of Franklin, who Michael had previously befriended, the pair chase after the tennis coach. When Michael finds a brick of weed belonging to Jimmy in the fridge, he and Amanda argue until her yoga instructor, Fabienne LaRouche, shows up, further angering Michael. When Jimmy walks into the kitchen looking for his weed, he insults Michael for taking it, causing Michael to confront him, which Amanda tries to defuse. Suddenly, Trevor Phillips appears, surprising everyone. After an awkward reunion with Michael, he greets Amanda before learning, along with Michael, that Tracy was auditioning for the TV show Fame or Shame. Fearing that she was going to embarrass herself, Michael and Trevor rush off to stop her. Amanda later calls Michael after she is caught shoplifting from a fancy clothing store. If Michael decides to help her, he steals the police car, with a handcuffed Amanda held in the back seat, and flees from the police. As he takes Amanda home, Michael chastises her habit of stealing things, to which Amanda points out that Michael is just as bad with his past criminal life. If Michael decides not to help her, she takes money from Michael's bank account. Later, as Michael and Amanda are arguing about Michael smoking in the house and Trevor's return, Fabienne arrives once again and invites both of them to a yoga session to relax. Michael agrees to join them, much to Amanda's frustration. The session goes well until Fabienne attempts to straddle Amanda in a yoga position. Michael gets angry and lunges at Fabienne, who dodges him, causing Michael to fall into his swimming pool. Having reached her breaking point with her husband's behavior, Amanda denounces Michael and angrily declares that she will leave him and never return. She leaves a note for Michael saying that she, Jimmy, and Tracy have decided to move in with Fabienne due to Michael's recent misconduct, and threatens legal action against him, leaving her husband distraught. While Amanda leaves, she tries to make Michael jealous by leaving posts on his Life Invader page, saying that Fabienne satisfies her physically, emotionally, and spiritually. However, after some time, she begins to realize that Fabienne is even more vain and self-obsessed than Michael ever was, spending more time focusing on yoga and making numerous colon-related insults at her, Jimmy and Tracy. She calls Franklin, asking if Michael is still alive, and leaves a message on his Life Invader page, telling him to let her know that he is safe. After a few weeks, Jimmy finally visits the house to see Michael. He claims that Amanda is not happy with Fabienne any longer, and that she is at a Bean Machine Cafe with him. The pair then leave and show up at the cafe. When Michael and Jimmy arrive, Fabienne insults both of them, to which Amanda responds by asking Michael to hit him, which he does with a nearby laptop. Satisfied, Amanda tells Michael to take himself, along with Jimmy and Tracy, to Dr. Friedlander's therapy office, after which she leaves with Fabienne, presumably taking him home. During the therapy session, the couple vent and argue at each other, but by the end they are both satisfied with being able to release years of pent-up anger. They both promise to try and make each other happy and no longer cheat on each other, and Amanda and the children move back in. Soon after, she and Tracy are held hostage by Merriweather Security under orders of Devin Weston, whom Michael inadvertently angered when his attempt to stop him from canning a movie he was working on resulted in his lawyer being unalived when she ran into an active jet engine trying to escape Michael. Michael unalives all the Merriweather operatives except one, who manages to throw him on the ground. Before he could unalive the DeSantas, however, Jimmy saves his family by knocking out the Merriweather operative, though he teabags Michael instead, accidentally. Afterwards, Amanda, Jimmy, and Tracy move out of the property for their own safety. After the final mission, Amanda and Michael will no longer be seen fighting, and if Michael speaks with Amanda, she will no longer complain or be sarcastic with him, now being more friendly. When taken on friend activities with her husband, they both will be more tolerant with each other while hanging out, during the first of which they promise to be faithful to each other. Amanda and her children can often be found sitting on the couch, contentedly watching TV together, or gathered around the kitchen table engaged in conversation.